City Jazz Sessions is about great music, arts, and entertainment. We are located in St. Louis, Missouri, and available to performance art lovers worldwide. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. You can email us at cityjazzsessions@gmail.com.
Good
Good
evening.
afternoon.
I thought you wanted me to do the intro.
You hesitated.
All
Take it
right, hold
away.
on. No, go ahead. You're on.
Good afternoon, everyone. Magic Man 50 Warren Harper. This evening, along with Leon, who was supposed to do the end, but anyway, an encore event with Mr. Sante Nu. How are you?
I am well. I am well. Thank you for having me.
So, what's been happening? Well, we talked with you. What was that? Almost a year ago.
Almost, yeah, I think so.
Time flies.
I think it's
Indeed.
actually over a year, a little over a year.
Yeah. So, how have you been, and what have you been doing?
I have been wonderful. Just anytime I have an opportunity to sit and create and to do my thing, I'm in bliss. And so this past year, I've really been working on a project, a collaborative project with a really good friend of mine, Latrice Love. I received a grant for an opportunity to partner with a new artist who has not had an opportunity to sort of produce their own work. And so this was a collaborative project with her to give her an opportunity to be able to put her work out and put some of her original music out. And honestly, we just had a really great time putting it all together.
So Latrice Love, what genre would you say her music is?
It's a blend of jazz,
R&B.
R&B, soul music. It's got a little bit of everything, but I think at the forefront, I'd probably say jazz is sort of at the edge there.
Okay, I've heard the name, but I honestly haven't listened to her yet, so we'll definitely check her out.
Right on. Yeah, she's based in the Bay Area in Oakland, California.
All right. So now, when we last talked, you were doing some things, but now has anything else changed? Or have you shifted your focus and your music, your audiences, or you pretty much on the same plane?
I'd say it really depends on where the music aligns. There's a different song I think for everybody. I think there's a different message that for everybody, and some in terms of fans and shifting fans, I definitely try to keep the fans that I got and stay connected with them, and as well as I being a creator, being a music writer, a composer, I've learned you got to write for just the way that it comes and not necessarily write for the audience. Oftentimes, writing for the audience, I think it really comes across as not authentic to the listener. And my goal is to really be authentic to myself, be authentic to the gifts that I've been given. And if that means that somebody may dig it over here and the other person may not over there, so be it. But hopefully they can find something that they can connect with.
Okay, okay.
So
Now
you
we also talked about theater briefly. So,
Mhm.
do you plan on venturing into that soon?
I am. I actually have a project that I'll be working with the Metro Theater Company on starting in the fall. And then in the spring, there's a project that I'll be partnering with the creative. Let's see, what it COCA, Creative Center of the Arts, and so partnering with them on a project from a playwright who we workshopped and sort of did a live reading of her piece last year, and so this year is now we're taking it into full swing and really moving forward with the full production. So, and then at the top of the year, I had an opportunity to work with Fontbonne University, where they were hosting, and it was actually Mustard Seed Theater, and they were producing a piece called Feminine Energy. And that piece was, I had a lot of fun. I got to write the music for it, and I just found myself in heaven because it was essentially kind of like 90s R&B, which is really my swing. And so and really a lot of the music that I grew up with. And so I just had a great time writing for that piece. So, as the opportunities continue to come, I'm looking forward to them, but I am looking forward to the new projects that I have coming up.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about Mustard Seed?
Sure. So Mustard Seed Theater is a theater company that was started, I believe, at Fontbonne, and they were producing plays at Fontbonne quite regularly, and then sort of took a break for a while. And this was one of the sort of comeback pieces, if you will, that they produced. And the actual play was written by a good friend of mine, Maya Gary, and she is based in Illinois, but works quite a bit here and in the St. Louis area. And it just was a really phenomenal piece that dealt with Black women and what it means to offer self care, to be in self care, as well as Black women in health and the health industry.
Yes. Speaking of self care, I got a family member that's going through some emotional type things, and we've been having a lot of conversations lately. And I really have been trying to encourage him and be a good support. And he's a Black man, so I think Black men need a lot of help too.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to work my way through this and figure out how can I be of more support, you know.
The reality is, I think so often we are, especially in the Black community, we're taught and we're told that you have to be strong, you got to keep moving forward, that strong Black man, strong Black woman, and we really run ourselves into the ground. And I think. And I hope that the pandemic really gave us an opportunity to see that it really is okay to take some me time. It really is okay to have some mental health awareness. Even in terms of mental health, I think it has been such a stigma within the Black community for a very long time. But I think that being aware and dealing with those things and going to therapy is, listen, I'm an advocate for therapy. If Because it doesn't mean that something is wrong with you. What it does mean that you are utilizing the tools that are available to you to find the proper care that you need. And sometimes that means just sitting in a room and having somebody listen to you, and having someone either validate and or say, hey, let's think about that and maybe try to work through that. Uh, because sometimes being that strong Black woman, that strong Black man, that strong Black person can be exhausting. And there's a lot that we carry. When we get up and walk out of the house every day, you kind of don't know what's going to happen in the world around you. And so just that stress alone is a lot to carry. And so I think, even if it's not therapy, going to a spa and getting a massage. Brothers, get a massage. Okay? Get those shoulders, drop those shoulders. It's fine.
I'm all for that.
Yeah, and actually for my son, I told him, I said, if you're not going to take care of your nails, pay somebody to do it, right? So that you are practicing proper health care, because taking care of our hands, taking care of our feet, that's important, right? And he had an uncle who came and picked him up and took him to an all male spa. And I will never forget, he sent me a text message that said, my hands are so soft. But there is something to treating yourself. Take yourself out to dinner, take yourself to a movie, call up a friend that you haven't spoken to in a while. Work through some of those things, because that's how we maintain ourselves, and that is how we get through this thing called life that is continuously throwing things at us and throwing things our way. And so, and I say, whatever it is that you couldn't get done today, it will be done tomorrow, which is all well and good. But if you need to just sit and binge watch something on one of these streaming channels, just so you don't cut somebody out, do that.
I hear you.
So what do you, just out of curiosity, what do you binge watch?
Oh, listen, I love sci-fi.
Very good.
And here as of late, I have been watching Warrior, and which deals a lot with the Chinese community when they were moving into the U.S. And I love martial arts. I will watch a an old kung fu film any day. And it's funny because even now I watch it, and sometimes you know, folks are like, well, they're not even, the
Uh-huh.
mouths aren't moving and
Right.
it's voiceover. But I'm like, it's still just, look at that. Look how fast he is. So, um, and I believe it or not, I love cartoons. I will sit and watch something on Adult Swim, on Looney Tunes. I've never gotten over my love of cartoons, and I don't think I ever will. So those are the things I watch.
Are you a fan of Barbie?
I am not, but I've heard a lot of people have a lot of good things to say about the film. And so I even had a couple of friends that, were like, hey, let's go and check it out. And so, I might, or I just might wait until I can rent it on my TV. I don't know, but I've heard a lot of good things about the film for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, after what you were saying about the heat, my thought is that you'll be getting it on on the streaming service.
Exactly. Listen, I am not built for this Missouri heat. Okay. I moved here from the Bay Area, and after being here for a couple of years, I've come to realize that fall is my best season. Like,
Hmm.
fall is when I thrive. I will be outside twirling and frolicking, but in this heat,
You come to life
can't
then.
do it.
Your flower blooms in the fall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Time too.
So has the heat and the pandemic impacted your creativity in putting together this last couple of projects you've been working on?
No, the beauty of being creative is that you can be creative anywhere, right?
Okay.
I used to walk around when I was younger. I used to walk around with one of those handheld recorders because I would just get random ideas in places and stores and whatnot, and I try to remember it, but then by the time I got into the car, whatever, I'd forget it. So I used to walk around with the recorder so that I could at least record the piece that came to me in that moment. And now I'm grateful because our phones do it. So,
True.
I find inspiration in just about every place. Just sometimes just sitting and watching people. Now I may be sitting inside of a coffee shop. I won't be sitting outside until it cools
Till
off.
it goes up
But
to the fall.
uh
Well,
yeah, yeah, but sometimes just sitting and observing and watching people's interactions,
Mhm.
watching just the little nuances of how people operate, I think is so interesting to me as an artist, and sometimes just watching nature. I do love just being able to go on a hike and just go out and really sort of observe. And there are a lot of really beautiful trails here in Missouri. That we've been able to hike, and so hiking along the Mississippi, and there's just so much that I've observed that just gives me life and pushes me to want to create.
So now you mentioned that the current album that you released um, is part due to feature uh, a, another artist. So how much of that? First off, how many tunes are on the album, and then how much of them feature you, or is it a lot of duets, or you doing backgrounds, or how is that put together?
Yeah, so there's a total of 7 songs on the album, and 4 of the songs are songs that I wrote, and 3 of them are songs that Latrice wrote, and so we just supported one another in whatever way it is that we needed to be able to fill in, uh, whether that was on parts or putting together certain lyrics or what have you. And the duet song, there is one song that we did together. That song is called Life Cycles, which the album is titled after. And I really, that's one of the songs that just sort of came to me. I think I was, you know what? As a matter of fact, I remember I was going to a restaurant, station number three, which is a vegan restaurant that I love. And so I don't know what it was, but I was going back to the car, and all of a sudden this melody had come to me. And so I pulled out my phone and started to record it. And then the next part came, and then the next part came, and then the lyrics started coming. And I was like, oh, okay, this is something. And it was something told me this has got to be a duet. This has to be something that I work with someone on. And at that point, I didn't know who it was going to be, how it was going to be. And then when the opportunity came up and I received the grant to do this project, I was like, well, this is the one, because I know Latrice and I know her voice. We've sung together for years. We did background vocals together for years. And so I know her voice well. And I could hear it in my head. I could hear it in my ear. And I said, okay, this is the one. And it just, that song in itself, I think really encapsulates what the album is about, which is really about life cycles and the yin and yang and the ups and downs, the things that we go through. And in particular, she and I have similar stories in regards to kind of going through some really rough relationships and coming out on the other side better than what we were, and what it means to us as mothers, as survivors of some not great situations, and being able to come together to see that it didn't break us and it didn't take us down, and we survived that, and being that, allowing that to be a story to be told.
So you said Station Three Vegan Restaurant. Is that in St. Louis?
It is in St. Louis. It is in the, I believe it's considered the Cherokee area. It's like right off of Cherokee. Um,
Yeah.
but it is a delicious spot, and I love going there. There are a ton, and I will say there are a ton of really great vegan restaurants here in St. Louis, and I have a list of my favorites.
I would love to get that list.
I will most definitely share with you. Sweet Art is another that is one of my absolute favorites, and that one is Black owned. Yeah, yes, I will share that list with you.
Definitely. My wife and I. I'm not a vegan, but I love my vegetables, and my wife is pretty much pretty much vegan.
Got it. Got it. Yes, I will be happy to share that.
So, are you a vegan spiritually, or is this a health journey for you?
Kind of both, and it's really more so of a health journey, simply because my body was going through some changes, and it was like it's time for something different, and listening to my body and really kind of doing some trial and error. I will say one of the hardest things to give up was fried chicken. uh, I'm not gonna lie, I mean,
So you
that's
don't
just
you
the
don't
truth
offer
of it.
yourself any cheat days.
I do not, no, and but I have found some very good alternatives that
Hmm.
are natural, i.e., fried oyster mushrooms are the closest thing you can get to fried chicken, and it is. I try to stay away from processed foods and really be conscious about what I am putting in my body. And the other side of my veganism is also, um, to be honest, I was going through some health things, and happened to end up watching this documentary, and it was talking about how our foods are processed and those types of things. And I don't know that I've shared this story with many people, but anyway, I guess it's getting shared now. Oh, but um, I was watching this documentary, and there was a scene in that where they showed all these cows in this pen, and they were really just kind of standing in their own feces. And honestly, it just took me to a visual of slaves being put on a slave ship. And I just, I realized that that was what I was putting into my body. And this isn't me being on, high horse or anything like that. That's just the way that it
Shakes out.
processed in my brain. And so I decided, if unless I can afford to go and actually purchase a cow that I know that has been cared for and is not in some overpopulated pen and those types of things, then I, you know, I'd rather not. And so I decided to give it a try. And then health wise, I started feeling better and realized, oh, this goes hand in hand. So,
Right, right. Your body feels so much better when you don't have that excess weight of all that flesh that's waiting to come out, you know. So I can relate to that part of it. But I still like to eat my meat every now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I will say it does make it interesting when I'm going to family reunions and things because I hear it constantly. What? You don't eat this? You don't what? You don't eat that? But I've learned quite well to adapt, and I've also learned to educate my family in the fact that I eat more than just salads. Uh, Because
Right.
I'm pretty sure that they're convinced that I only eat salads. So with that, I just try to be cognizant of um, just again what I eat and what I put in my body and how my body feels when I eat something I probably shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
That was the other thing that I was interested in is how did the people around you make that adjustment, with you, because it's an adjustment for them because when they invite you over and they're going to cook things, they have to now specifically consider your dietary needs. So how did those people close to you make that adjustment?
Honestly, I can say more people, veganism has become more popular. And so more people have been investigating different ways and different things, and there are more options. Can say when I first started on this journey, there weren't as many options in the grocery stores as there are now. But now it's like you just go to another aisle to pick up the items so that you can accommodate other people. And I do think that it has helped my friends and family to be more cognizant of, people with gluten allergies and those types of things, and just being, people with different types of food sensitivities. And so it's not been so much of an adjustment, like I said, and less is some of those folks that are just like, I just can't do it, and I don't know how you do it. And for them, they're not the ones that are necessarily cooking for me either. So,
Understood. 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 Well, I'm really good to hear about your new project. Um, so, are we going to get a chance to sample that here at Sessions so that we can, I don't know, maybe do some kind of a review, just maybe a tune or two, share with us?
yeah, sure. You can just let me know how you'd like me to.
You
How
can
you'd like me to
MP3
share.
us. You got our emails, just send it.
Got it. I will
Yeah.
definitely send it over, and yeah,
Just
we can make that happen.
because when we had you on last year, Warren introduced me by we were over at his house and he introduced me by playing. I think there's a Spotify channel for you,
Hmm.
and so we kind of went through your music there. Have you released that to the public yet, or is that
I
still in that
have.
process?
I have. It has been released, and you can pick up the music. Again, it's called Life Cycles, and it's Lyfe, and then Cycles, and you can find that on anywhere you get your music. So
Okay, well,
Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, Deezer, anywhere you find your music, you will find this album. And then there is also a music video that we produced in with the Life Cycle song, and so you can find that as well on my website www.ahsatinu.com, and all of that is there. But I will be more than happy to send all of that to you all and share it with you.
oh, that's okay. I'm not going to make you do all that extra work. I mean, if it's already out there and I
Yeah.
could track it down. I was just getting a little lazy. I mean,
No, it's all good.
you
It's
know,
all good.
I was getting a little lazy. I had you on the line, so I was like, well, let me fish for something here.
Yeah, yeah. No, it is all good.
So now, just curious, what kind of music is your partner into?
She's into just about everything. I can say one of her most favorite artists is Elton John. Uh, Elton John and Tom Petty. Those are top two. You play those at any place, and she's gonna know the song. She's gonna know it all. And it doesn't matter which album, new album, late album, it doesn't matter. She knows it. So definitely her top two. But part of our enjoyment is just also just listening to music, and we like to try to find new artists to support, um, because honestly, it's hard out here as an artist, as an independent artist, to be able to find that support. So, um, I try to give that support. So that, because I know what that feels like, and I know that feeling, so certainly we try to find new artists to support and listen to, and if they come to the St. Louis area, we will try at least go to a show or something.
Yeah. So be sure to let us know because you got our email and our contact. You got a gig or something, if we can try to get out.
Well, she's got the
Excellent. Yes.
play coming up. We definitely want to see that.
Yeah, well, the play's coming up, and actually, I think I did just solidify. I will be playing the music at the intersection with Mo Edgston on September 9th. So looking forward to that. And then I also will be playing. I have a show booked at Jack's Joint, which is it's in the same building as O'Connell's Pub, but it's upstairs, and that's going to be on October 21st. And I've got some shows that will be happening outside of the St. Louis area, but certainly I will share that information with you, particularly on the 21st.
Excellent,
I
excellent.
used to go to O'Connell's, and I was wondering when I saw this Jack's joint. I'm like, wait a minute, what's different here? Because you know what they did the last time I was there, they had I forget an artist playing, and downstairs, and they had
Mhm.
a doggone hockey game going on all that section. I'm like, what's up with that? We were
Yeah.
trying to hear the music, and you guys got this game going on over here.
Yeah, it's been, well, first of all, I've learned when it comes to hockey, when it comes to baseball in St.
In
Louis.
St. Louis,
I
yes,
mean,
it takes precedent. Yes,
indeed.
it takes
But
precedent.
I played Jack's Joint a few months ago, and it's upstairs. I believe it used to be a gallery, but they
Hmm.
made it into, there's a grand piano that's up there, and I think there was a small organ that was up there, and I think it's still there, but I'm not sure. But I really enjoyed it because it's an intimate place, it's an intimate space, where we can really connect with the audience, and really just, I mean, we had a good time when we were so we were telling jokes. It was great. In between songs, it was wonderful, and we really had a great time. So I'm looking forward to. And the one thing I will say is that so the same gentleman who runs Joe's Cafe also is running this space upstairs, and he definitely is a big supporter of St. Louis arts, and so it's been just being able to connect, and being able to have access to spaces like that. I'm really excited about.
All right. Okay. Haven't been to Joe's in a long time.
Mm. I will say the first time I went in, it was an experience. I was not prepared for all the decor, but, but we had a good time there too, for
We're
sure.
It's still pretty tight in there, kind of.
It is. It is. But it was. Oftentimes I really enjoy playing in spaces like that because it allows us to be able to kind of let down our guards, both the audience and the entertainers, and just be and experience one another. And I really, big festivals are great. But there's something about being in that space, and really being next to each other and being connected that I really resonate with.
Yeah. The
So would
intimacy of
moving to the larger venues, like say you started to become more popular, would you start to then play the bigger venues, or would you continue to be in the more intimate environments so that that you can connect better. I mean, because you don't you don't have to go play a 70,000 seat stadium. You
Right.
can play smaller venues and make sure that that experience that your listener, that your supporter has is with you and not with,
Hmm.
so would you, it's hard to, ask an artist, would you turn down a 70,000 seat stadium for a 50 seat, venue? But I'm guessing it would be a difficult choice for you.
I think, honestly, my answer is both and. I think, if the opportunity, let me say, rephrase that, when the opportunity comes to play in front of 70,000 fans, certainly I want to be able to do that. I even in terms of some of the larger festivals that I've been able to play, it may not be 70,000 people, it's a couple thousand people there. And even with that, there is something fun and energetic about seeing all of these people move and sway to your music, and whether that's heads bopping or whether that's people dancing in the front, what have you. There's a high energy that comes with that I really do love. uh, but I still think even in those moments I would probably still do smaller shows and more intimate shows, um, just simply because there's I find myself fed, really, um, by both, and so I why not do both?
Sure. Absolutely. So, have you done any of the standards? You do anything in that genre?
Oh yeah. So I have been singing since forever, and several of the residencies that I used to have were just jazz standards. That was the gig. It was just jazz standards, and then you may get a couple requests for another jazz standard, but you
So,
know
what are your
that
favorites?
was a gig. Hmm?
What are your favorites?
Oh, I like. Let's see. Green Dolphin Street is one of my favorite. Um, Misty.
Okay.
Um, let's see. It's a lot to think of. I sang Summertime a lot,
Hmm.
and it gets done a lot, but it is still one of my favorites. It's one of those that you can just hear it anywhere and you automatically know what it is as soon as you hear it played. I'd say those are probably my top three. There are many, many more, but I'd say I do like Inchworm. I think that's a fun song to sing vocally, just because I just like to move all around it. But uh, I'd say, yeah, I could keep going as they come to me,
Sure.
but I'll leave it at those.
There's a million of
Indeed.
them. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I sang with a rock band for a while, and so we did some like Pink Floyd and all the rest of that, and um, then did top 40 for a while, and did a lot of that, and for several years I did a soul night at a club in San Francisco called Club Deluxe, and we did pretty much majority blues, funk, R&B, mainly from kind of like the 60s and 70s era, some from the 80s, but
Hmm.
yeah. So I used to tell people, they'd say, "What do you sing?" And I said, "Anything that pays." That used to be my answer.
I
Short
hear
and
you.
simple.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So now, what type of entertainment do you like to go to when you go out? You and your partner say you want to go out and listen to something. Where would you go?
Um, it really just depends. There have been honestly, we're still getting to know a lot of the venue spaces here. We most recently went to Workfest, which it was at the Big Top in the Grand Arts District, and it's basically a music festival that is Black run, and we had a lot of fun. They had DJs, they had, I mean, so I'd say that's definitely one thing is like going out and going dancing and listening to a good DJ. Um, and especially if they're mixing like world music and Afro-Cuban music, there's just something about those rhythms I really enjoy. Uh, and then I guess I'd say past that, uh, really just sometimes it's a matter of, oh, let's go and see who's playing here. And I have been seeing some advertisements for a city winery, and so some of the artists I may not have heard of, but I usually try to go online to check out and see who they are. If we can make it to the show, great. If not, at least I can follow them on their social media or something. So
Now that's City Winery. That's the joint inside the foundry, right?
correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
They got a little cafe, a little grill set up right there, and I ain't gonna lie, that joint got some nice oxtails. I will eat some oxtails.
Hey, listen, if I still ate meat, I'd eat oxtails too, and especially with some good Jamaican oxtails. That's
Okay.
it right there.
Yeah, my aunt out in Cali, that's her specialty. When she cooked them for us out when we went out there, oh,
Look, I can see it on your face right now. That changed your whole world.
yeah, stomach
Totally
ground.
different body language.
Right.
Totally different body language.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if I may, just for a moment, I did mention earlier that part of the reason why I was able to get this project done was through a grant I received, and it was a grant that I had received through New Music USA. And if I can just get on a soapbox for just a moment, I just want to encourage artists, please apply for these grants. There is funding that is available to support you in your artistry, to support you in your endeavors and what you're trying to do. And there have been a lot of artists that I've talked to, and they feel intimidated by the idea of applying for a grant.
Mhm.
But that this concept of I'm going to wait until I get this record deal so I can get the money so I can do my artistry. Unfortunately, that's not the world that we're living in right now. It's no longer where you just go and perform in a club and there's a producer there that's like, hey, I want to sign you.
Right.
Um, and quite frankly, it's really no longer beneficial to even sign with certain labels because you end up walking away with less than what you walked in with. Um, and so, if you are just looking to be able to do your artistry, whether that's music, whether that's painting, photography, what have you, go out and get this funding. Um, there are, when I say there's a lot of money that's out there, there's a lot of money that is out there. And if you don't know where to start, just Google grants for jazz music, grants for R&B music, grants for individual artists, grants for bands, grants for painting, what have you. Just we have the information is available to us. Go out, look it up, and just get this money. We need to be doing better in our community, specifically about getting the money. Okay, I'm done.
No, that's fine. You still with us, Mr. Warren?
Yeah, yeah. My mic conked out. I had to switch the work.
Oh,
Mix it
okay.
back
All
on.
righty. I feel like I have taken up enough of her time. I really do appreciate her coming in and talking about her latest project.
Oh,
Um,
shoot.
and I'm sure down the road she will keep us in mind. We're such charming gentlemen.
Indeed. Most
Somebody
certainly.
you'd love to hang out with for an evening, and so we appreciate that. And
Yeah,
we're
I
glad
did.
that you decided to settle in St. Louis.
I am too. I am too. And I certainly appreciate you all and your support and the support and love that you all offer to St. Louis artists and to independent artists. This is certainly a wonderful platform to be showcased on. So thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Sure.
We,
Pleasure
we
having
love
you
to do
back.
it.
We run into you soon.
Yes, indeed. Indeed.
Maybe at Blue Strawberry.
Yeah, let's do it.
Sounds good. Okay.
Was that it, Warren? Were you done?
Great.
All right.
I think we're done.
One more time, give everybody the name of your album and your social media information, website, and then we'll get out of here.
Sure. The album is entitled Life Cycles. It is an album by myself, AhSa-Ti Nu, and Latrice Love. And you can find it on my website, www.ahsatinu.com. That's AhSatinu.com. And there you will find links to take you wherever it is that you'd like to go, whether that's Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music. And you'll also find the music video there too. So yeah, please make sure to support.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
City Jazz Sessions is brought to you by St. Louis City Jazz, a 501c3 company dedicated to music education and appreciation. The CEO is Magic Man 50, and for more ways to connect with City Jazz Sessions, visit cityjazzsessions.wixsite.com/St. Louis. The City Jazz Sessions team includes host, content director, and guest coordinator, jazz great Ronnie Barrage. Follow Ronnie at ronniebarrage.biz. Host, website designer, graphic artist, content director, and guest coordinator, singing sensation Leica. Discover more about Leica at leicamusic.com. Additional production services are provided by Lions Den Productions. Go to thelionsdenstl.wixsite.com/home. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe for more great content.